What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I'm your co-host Dom. Laura could not be on this episode. This episode, last year around this time, this is going to be released on Thanksgiving week. So last year around this time, my friend was so kind to come back on the show, and it was a blast. Um, and it was painful because I'm not good at answering questions and stuff. So I signed up again for this wonderful root canal that I am so excited to experience with the certified baller shot caller. Got more juice than the red fruit punch Gatorade. Doing it big, bigger than all those little elves and reindeer that come on Santa's sleigh. And she's popping bottles on her way to another world championship team. And this time, she gonna medal. That's what it is. She is none other than the legend, Sister Elise Cranny. What's going on? Welcome back to the party, fam. Or this episode, Lactic Acid with Dom and Elise. How are you
A
doing?
true party, the ultimate party. Yeah, thanks for
Yes.
having me back. I think I've said this before, but I always look forward to your intros. Never know what you're gonna say, but always a warm welcome. So happy to be here.
I was nervous about that intro because I was thinking about what do I have to answer um this time around. But last year we added a food element to the party since Elise is my guest co-host for this show. And I think it was charcuterie. Yeah, it was charcuterie. Um, and we tried our best. I had a Lunchable, and those who listened saw that that was almost my last day on Earth. And Elise had, had I think six crackers, and she swore it wasn't Kraft cheese, and I believe her. So she had cheese and crackers. Um, so we decided to break it down again and try something else. Elise, show the people of the world what you're showcasing as far as the food choice for this episode.
Okay, so you inspired me because when we were texting, you had said a deconstructed happy meal, which is not exactly the direction that I went. But like a happy meal has a toy. So I took this beautiful plate that my sister made about 15 years ago, the little duck in the middle that, inspired by a toy that you might get in a happy meal, a little fun.
Mhm.
And we got some slightly upgraded from last year, not just cheese and crackers. We have cheese and crackers, apples, and some nice little chocolates. So not I wouldn't definitely wouldn't call this a deconstructed happy meal, but just a little plate with some pizzazz, a little bit of everything.
Um,
Just let the creative juices flow this evening.
yeah, I mean, if you went to Whole Foods and got a Happy Meal, that's a good deconstructed Happy Meal. So I'm not mad at it. So I think that's a great Happy Meal. Love the duck. Okay, which sister made that? The one, first of all, the Cranny family is stepping different in 2024. So Elise made another world championship team. I'm sorry, the what the heck am I talking about? The Olympic team, might be. Um, Lauren, one sister, is a teacher, and then your other sister passed the bar. Y'all not
Yeah,
touching them for at least the next 15 to 20 years. This is this is crazy.
I was just talking to my dad about that this morning about my two sisters because Emily's living in Chicago and working at a law firm, and I've been to Lauren's classroom a few times. She's in charge of, I think, 23 students in the third grade, and I'm so impressed. I think I still just see her as my little sister being like 10 years old, so it's wild to go into her classroom and see her uh taking care of and teaching and helping 23 students grow. So I'm a very, very proud big sister. I've always been that way, but just seeing them over the last couple of years set their mind to something and go after what they're both really passionate about has been really cool.
I mean, sister girl in her Jordan era, basically. I like that.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh my gosh, whole family lit. Okay, MJ, everything. I see you. All right, shout out to the Crannies, keeping up with the Crannies. Nobody can because they are on another level. Listen, we are all witnesses, as they said for LeBron James, my dog. Shout out to the GOAT. All right, my deconstructed meal. So the toy was too big to put on the same charcuterie board that I had last year that I was supposed to return a week after. And that did not happen. I have something that just fell off the charcuterie board. Um, I have these boneless. Okay, so these are chicken nuggets. So that may be the first topic. So these are chicken nuggets, five, um, French fries, and then for my toy, I have his name is Stanley, the Black Santa Claus. He's got a mug. This looks like cocoa with marshmallows, but it could be a brownie that just got stuck into the mug. And a book Twas the Night Before Christmas with the bear slippers too. So uh
Love it.
Big
Absolutely
Stan,
love it.
Big Stan is rolling up in here in lactic acid tonight. Um, should we take a bite of this monstrosity that we've made, aka the deconstructed Happy Meal?
Yeah, what are you going with first? I feel like you got to go chicken first. I feel like you're a chicken guy through and through.
It's in my blood. It's and everything. Oh crap. I keep forgetting. Everything's gonna be on my face in terms of how it is. Okay. What are you going first with? Oh, you're watching me eat first. Oh, okay. This is no pressure. Okay.
Should I hit you
Same.
with a question at the same time?
No. Oh crap. I forgot we're supposed to do that. So let me save this because this is gonna be crazy. I got to get my question going first.
Okay.
So you're awesome. Not everybody else can say the same. Sorry, people, but it's just the truth. Few people got hip to the awesome things that you're doing and just being so awesome in the world. Then three things are going to be done for you this holiday season. The first thing, I asked you about the appetizer last time. This time, you get to pick the meal. You walk into any location, any restaurant, anywhere across this great world of ours, and you pick whatever gourmet meal that is on the mind, heart, and soul of Sister Elise Cranny the first. And it doesn't matter. You can go to Chili's and get beet stew or a beet salad. Oh, beet salad. Where did stew come from? Whatever. It's just that bobbing and weaving. You can get whatever it is that you want. So you get a chance to pick the gourmet meal. So this is different from the first two episodes because I asked you about the burger, which led me to do a bison burger, and then we did the appetizer, and now you got to give the meal. Second thing, when athletes ball out, you get put on a Wheaties box, but everybody's realizing that Wheaties is not good enough for you unless you want it. So you get the chance to pick the cereal box that you want to be featured on, basically. And they're going to sell it everywhere. And because I'm nice, I'm just going to limit it to those two questions. So,
Okay, I appreciate that. You always hit me with the hard-hitting questions at first that I don't usually think about.
so no pressure, just something.
All right, for my meal, I'm going, oh man. Um,
Anything.
geez. I'm going to go, I'm going to go steak. I'm going to go a nice steak
Okay.
with a peppercorn sauce, some really good garlic mashed potatoes, and side of, ooh. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do like potatoes two ways on the side of my steak and just forgo the vegetables. I'm gonna go truffle fries and garlic mashed potatoes with a steak with peppercorn sauce. That's my order. That's my gourmet meal.
I can actually dig that. I don't know about the peppercorn sauce, uh, but what kind of steak?
Ooh, just probably just a classic fillet. Can't go wrong with that.
You sure
medium
can.
rare.
Oh, why'd you? Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool.
It was good at first. I was like, wow, I got Dom's approval. That rarely happens with any food related questions or
hmm
items, but
And
I think
then
I lost you.
drove that car into a cliff and everything. But respect if that is what you want, because I'm not great like you are when it comes to certain things. So if that's what makes you great, I listen. Get it medium rare, all the blood, let it come out of the steak. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you Elise. That's what you roll with. What are we doing about the cereal box?
Okay, I think you might judge me for this one, but I'm going Fruity Pebbles. I've just grew up eating Fruity Pebbles, love Fruity Pebbles. Whenever I come over to my parents' house, there's usually a box of Fruity Pebbles here, so I have to usually have a bowl. So it's just the taste, but also the like sentimental value. It makes me nostalgic. So I feel like I would be a good face of a campaign for Fruity Pebbles.
Why would I judge you for Fruity Pebbles?
I don't know. I just think
I,
that most of my food choices you disagree with, which is great. It's great. Actually taught me to to own what I like more. I still remember the look you gave me when I said something about sushi and a milkshake, but I'll put that aside for now.
oh, I may have to. Did I post? I posted that on YouTube too. Um, Pretty classic for those who don't know. What year was that? Was that 23 or 22? 23. And I was 23. Elise had got done rabbiting a world record race and she was ready to go. She was ready to go. I've never seen anybody ready to go like Elise was ready to go that day. And I understand because the off season was just one interview away, and that was mine. And I asked her what sounds good, and she took a second to think about it. And she said sushi and a milkshake. And I thought that I had lost somebody. Like I was just I've never because like I told you in my head, I'm thinking she's eating raw fish and a milkshake at the same time. That is
Yeah,
legit.
I think you picture that I would take a bite of, like a rainbow roll and then take a sip of my peanut butter milkshake, which is definitely not what was going to happen. But wasn't opposed to having sushi for dinner than having a delicious milkshake for dessert.
I have to go buy a new toilet. All right. A rainbow roll. I've never heard of that one before. So tell me what that entails.
Usually it's a California roll with different types of raw fish over the top. I think it's the first thing I thought of because you
Okay.
were, explicitly talking about raw fish. So I usually have
Uh,
some nice pieces of raw fish on the top. So can't go
why?
wrong. You
Mm,
can't go wrong if you get it from the right place. Fresh
okay.
fish, delicious.
Not cooked fish. It's not, it can't be cooked.
No, no, a totally different vibe. But no judgment to anyone that doesn't like raw fish. It's definitely an acquired taste.
You said you had some questions
Yeah, we'll move forward.
for me.
Um,
All right, well, okay, fine. I guess I'll eat the first one and then when I ask you yours, because I'll be honest, this looks a little interesting. Oh
looks
boy.
pretty tasty.
You're in Colorado. You don't have the up close version of this. All right, I've been nervous about this one. So let's do it. Let's
Okay,
do it.
let's dive in. So
Okay.
I want to ask you some questions now that you have officially raced. I want to know what your journey to racing a 5K has been, what the race experience is like, what your relationship to running is, and how you feel like it's added to your life, changed who you are, taught you something, maybe none of that at all. I don't know. I want, yeah, I want people to hear about your experience. with your first race and yeah, as you're kind of like diving into the running world.
Are you sure you didn't major in journalism at Stanford?
Maybe we'll never know.
Okay. My relationship with running, if you asked me that 2 months ago, I would have said it. I can't say that. I can't say that. So what is it, November? You know, it's interesting. In the summer, I ran every day in a heat advisory and stuff. And it's crazy because without getting into too much detail, I was supposed to start running last spring, maybe. But there were some circumstances that prevented that. And so I remember I text my coach, shout out to Tori Parkinson. Um, and she was just worried more for me more than running. And she's like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure?" And I was like, "No, I'm not sure. But if I don't do it now, it's never gonna get done." And so the first run, I thought I was going to die because it was like 105, like the heat advisory. If you live in Florida and you run in the summer, do not run after 9 o'clock in the morning because it goes downhill from there. Like it was crazy. But something like kept me going back and going back and going back. Um, I'm gonna get to how you've helped me in the journey too in a second. But I don't know. After that first race, I messed up something like my hamstrings were cramping and I was nervous. So I bought this KT tape, take that thing up, both of them, like just in case the other hamstring decides it just wants to take a nap. And it's funny. Everybody had the biggest smiles on their face. They had joys in their heart and everything. It's August 18th. The weather was not perfect, but there was no humidity. It was just hot. And I was like, okay, it's cool. I got I'm ready to fight. Like I'm ready to go. I'm like Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Like I'm ready. And I had so much fun. My mom was there. My mom has taken all like my medals and um bibs and she's framed them and everything.
Wow.
Because she was so happy and she was so proud. And I went came away from that having a blast. Like, and so running, I don't know, just being in this training regimen, um, I've done like two doubles. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth. I texted you one day about it, and you said, I can't believe what I'm reading. And I couldn't believe that I typed it and my hands didn't fall off. It's been fun because I think there's such, and I'll ask you this in a second. There's such a simplistic value and simplistic kind of meaning to running. You're just moving
Yeah.
your legs. You're not, there was no pressure. I remember I raced in October. I had a race in October. And I said, okay, I didn't do as much, but I want to be a little faster. And I had like a 3 minute PR in that race and everything.
Amazing.
But it was no pressure. It was, almost got lapped up by a little kid, and that really kicked me into overdrive. I was like, yeah, this ain't happening. A little kid, I don't know who you are. I don't know if you, your mama, your daddy, whatever, listening to this, you got a future. You going somewhere when it comes to running. Because I was like, we ain't losing to this kid. And there's a picture of me staring this kid down. It's like, nope. Uh, so, but it's, the competitiveness is still there. I
Yeah.
feel like think the biggest thing is when you run, but you can empty your mind and
Hmm.
just let instincts do its thing. It's something rewarding about that. Like you
Yeah.
feel good. It doesn't matter like how you place because you know that, all right, it's just a part of the process. You're just stacking days and everything. But then you become grateful for the journey. You become grateful for the people that the little things, even the hard times. Like even it was so hot one day, I didn't pass out, but I was just I had to turn the fan on my feet because they were burning and everything. Um, but you become grateful for everything, but it puts things in perspective. You're grateful for the ability to run, but you're
Hmm.
grateful for the experience and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, I think that's the biggest thing. You helped me because you sent me. So when I run my races, I race in the shoes that you send me. I don't race in anything else. Those Zoom Vomeros, and for whatever reason, I feel like you coming down the home stretch of some of these races. I have never jogged in a race. I sprint the last 400 meters
You
of
got to. You got to.
every
It's the
race. But
only
it's
way.
like I've always had a kick, always had a kick. It may take me a while to get power to that kick, but if I'm within 20 meters of you, I'm frying your chicken down the home stretch. It's just it's night night. It's everything. But I think of people like you because you've been a great friend to me. I think of my coach. I think of just all the people who just supported this little running dream. And now you and I are talking about running a marathon in a couple years or years down the road, which was never thought. Marathon's a gas station. That's the only marathon I'm thinking of, not a not actual event. So that was a very long-winded tangent. Um,
No, I
but
love
I
it.
hope that answered the question
I
to
love
the
it.
best of my ability. But let me flip the question on you because this year has been a bit of a whirlwind, so to speak. I don't have to rehash everything. You got hurt, new group, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like I don't know when, and I don't even know if it's fully happened yet. But I've noticed more in the off season, just in the conversations you and I have had and everything. You can't really tell things through text, and we've talked on the phone a few times. Your load seems lighter. And maybe that feeling that I was talking about that I get just as an amateur casual runner, you're inching towards that as a professional runner, which is dangerous for everybody else. Because that means you're inching closer to the potential and the things that you're meant to do. But you just seem so happy and just so full of joy and everything. Am I kind of on brand, on par with that assessment?
Yeah. Yeah, very on brand. And when you were talking about your experience, I think that something that was really special in October, I got to go to the Chicago Marathon with Nike, and that was the first time I've been at any sort of marathon in person. And I just felt the things that you were just saying, just really experiencing firsthand the running community and 50,000 people chasing after a goal and everyone having a different goal. But everyone's showing up and, having made it through their own challenges, their own self-doubt, but all doing the same thing at the end of the day. And, as you said, I think realizing again just how simple running is. And I think, as a professional, and it becomes it goes from becoming something you're passionate about and you love, and that's still, where I'm at. But I think we've talked about that on a few episodes of like that's, at times that's waned a little bit more than I wish it it had. But I think um, over the last year, I think all of the changes and setbacks and challenges have really led to getting back to that freedom and that joy and more of that simplistic mindset. I mean, basically what you said, what you love about it is, when your mind is super clear. And I vividly remember when I was getting into running, that's what I loved most about it. And that's why it was always the highlight of my day, whether I was doing a run with friends or teammates or a workout. It was like you're not thinking about anything else. And I think at times I've let the pressure of it also being my career at this point get the best of me. Um, but I also know that that's when I lose some of the joy and also, not when I run my best. And so it's really refreshing to, hear about your running journey and to have seen that in person in Chicago. And I just met a lady who uh lives in the Boulder area at the track a couple days ago, and she's been running since she was 13 years old, but she's trying to improve her speed for some races. And even just talking to her again and connecting with people in the running community that have all sorts of different goals and have all sorts of different approaches, um, it's really refreshing, and it's what makes the running community so special that it is. You can just um, put on a pair of shoes and do it at any level, at any pace, and you're still there's so much that you can connect with other people on, because no matter how fast you're running, um everyone's going through similar things. Like I said, doubting whether you can do it. As you said, having, your muscles cramp up, or wondering if you're going to make it through, or, going out in cold weather, hot weather, or whatever it is. And, working through mental barriers and self-belief and confidence and trying to keep your head clear and all of those things. And I think that's what's so cool is, no matter where you are in the world, what age you are, how long you've been doing it or haven't been doing it, or what race you're doing or what training you're doing, is there's so many parallels and ways to connect, because you just runners just get each other, I feel like.
There's something about the dang marathon. Watching as a spectator, I encourage everybody, if you haven't already, take 3 days and go to a marathon.
Yeah,
When the marathon was here, the marathon trials was in Orlando. I didn't expect anything. Like I know, all right, I'm media, credential media. I have media work to do. But there are so many how like the Brooks had a house. Like there's so many expos. There's everything. You talk with the athletes and everything. There's something different about the marathon that I feel like it kind of whips you into not whips you into shape, but it gets you in the right mental fortitude because it's a grind. Like everybody else is out here putting 2 feet together running. And it's funny because I interview, a good amount of marathoners on the show, and they'll say, I'm trying to get my marathon time faster. It's not to say that they think it's slow, but you're comparing yourself to world record holders. So
right.
there's a little bit more pressure. If you go and you ask an average person, what's your marathon time? And they'll say 3 hours, 4 hours, yada, yada, yada. And then they'll ask, I listened to your podcast or whatever, XYZ, what is their marathon time? And you say 2 hours, 28 minutes. They're like, oh, like, because it's just that crazy. Like, if people ask you, there are people, who want to know, like, okay, what's your 5K time? And you think 14:41 or whatever, really, what is it, 14:32 or 14:31?
33, you're right on.
Same thing. Um,
It's all the same.
uh, yeah, it's all the same. But that is mind blowing. And it's like, oh crap, you got to get faster. But it's like, no, like your best is amazing. And you can continue to improve and stuff just for the love of the game. But I feel like it just puts things in perspective because track is a little different. Track, I mean, I love track. Like, I love the track and everything. There's a whole different vibe. Like, track, you're a little bit on edge. You just kind of have to have that edge. But I don't know if it's because everybody's running for 24 hours in a row, trying to finish 26.2 miles. But I don't know. It's just something about that marathon that puts you in a better, it puts things in perspective. That's what I
Yeah,
found. Even
it
when I
is.
finish, yeah, when I
Just
finish the races,
watching, what were your takeaways when you were in Orlando and you watched, was that the first time you had seen a marathon in person?
mhm.
Yeah, what were kind of your overwhelming takeaways, or just things that you noticed being in that environment and seeing people run 26.2 miles?
Like, I don't think people get how fast like 5 minute mile pace is. Like it people are PRing and they're running that on average.
Yeah.
And it's just the speed of it because it's fast. Like their jog is faster than my sprint, which is wild. But you also see there's such a tactical and there's such a mental grind.
Hmm.
But then you see the element of community because in Orlando there were 100,000 people out there.
Yeah.
And they were scream. It was loud. Like I'm at Lake Yola. I could hear stuff, about a mile or so away. Like everybody was loud
Yeah.
and stuff. Now, I don't think I'll ever be the runner that's gonna take a selfie with somebody while I'm running or whatever. I don't even take water. I'm like, no, that's just too many seconds. Like that's just my competitiveness. Like I'd rather be dehydrated down the line. I don't advise doing that to you kids out there.
I was just gonna
But
say when we do our marathon, I don't know too much about marathoning, but I think you might need to change that and have some fuel and drinks throughout, but we can discuss that down the road.
so can we do a poll?
Yeah, let's do a poll.
What marathon should Elise and I run?
Yeah, we want the
Um,
people to weigh in.
we want the people to weigh in that
This is
doesn't have,
a few years down the road, but
yes, this
we
is
got
this
to
is
start the
future.
conversation now.
Yes. Don't put, then let me just clarify. Don't put anything that got a hill in it. Um, no, no. That happened,
I didn't know we were setting parameters.
girl. That first race, there was a hill I was not ready for. And I looked up and said, Lord, you didn't tell me about this. I prayed to you. You didn't tell me about this. You told me everything. There, I was not ready. My legs were were malfunctioning. I was like, oh my. There were two. There was one that you knew. It was about a mile and a quarter in, and everything was locking up. And then there was a straight uphill. It used to be, I guess it used to be stairs. It's kind of a ramp, a steep ramp
Jeez.
just to finish. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is demonic. But yeah, don't put none with no hills in it. And it has to be flat.
All right, flat marathon in a couple years. We'll wait and
Yes.
see what the people have to say.
Yes. And we're gonna put it in and in a few years, the winner, you'll get a shout out on that episode. But I forgot your question. I'm sorry. What were you? Oh, yes, but what it was like. The crowd was amazing. But it felt like it was like a sense of community. Like
Yeah,
nobody was out there running alone
yeah,
and stuff. And that's hard because you're in the zone. First of all, track people forgive me. I just want to start off because I'm going to say something. I think the 10K is one of the worst events in track and field. I'm not sorry. Specifically because it's 25 laps around in a circle. Like just clicking off 25, 24, 23, 22, 20. Like you can't party, you can't do like you can't do anything. So mad respect for those who do that. But you can see stuff like it just feels like you find different forms of motivation when
yeah.
you are, does that make sense?
That's what it seems to, I mean, I've obviously never done one, but watching the marathon and talking to people, it does seem like there's quite an ebb and flow to it in terms of just like different parts of the course, different parts with spectators at different points, or running in a pack or not, or it just seems like a very dynamic race and really cool that you can have experiences in, a ton of different cities or different places and see so much of the city while I mean, not that you're necessarily sightseeing mid-race, but just that you're covering such a big part of different cities or towns when you're running a marathon.
Let me ask you this before you start grilling me again. What is it about this off season this all season for you, just from a different point of view, feels different because you're carrying yourself with a new level of not just confidence, but excitement. Like I hear and feel this excitement. It's like you went to a retreat and now you're ready. And it's not even about your opponent. It feels like it's about Elise now. Like you're ready to unlock this inner Elise that is terrifying for everybody
Wow.
else, but not only terrifying for everybody else, but it's an inner Elise that is beneficial to everybody else because your platform is so much bigger than just running. You inspire and you impact a lot of people, but the things that you've overcome just in this past year, they always say your tests make your testimony. You can't have a testimony without a test. And now you're ready to kind of share that in a bigger platform, and all that stuff was prepping you for this platform. It feels like something's different. Am I wrong about that?
Wow, you're always spot on. You're always spot on. No, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, but um, I mean, last year when I was on the podcast, it was just a really, really big time of transition. And I think, changing groups twice in the span of 3 months, like I'm very grateful for all the different experiences and they led me to where I am now, but it's been really nice. Um, I feel like in some ways, because of all those transitions, I didn't exactly have an off season last year, if that makes sense, like physically, but not kind of mentally or emotionally. And I think that's something that is really important for me to kind of fill my cup back up after the season and after the year. And so, being back in Colorado this fall and taking some time off running, but then also building back up and, getting in consistent mileage and work and workouts, but in a way that feels much more sustainable. Um, I think for quite a long period of time, um, my approach, mostly mentally, but a little bit with training too, didn't feel like it was so sustainable. I think we've talked about that a little bit, but I just felt like I was, gripping things so hard and so focused on the outcome. And I think that's something that I was really working on with my coach, Jared, when we started working together in March throughout this entire year. Um, but I think really being able to reflect back on the season and think about, what went well and pinpointing, okay, the races that went the best were the times where, exactly what you were saying, like I was my most joyful, free self, and I was spending time with um, my family, and I wasn't talking about running, but I was in that spot where, my mind was really free and I could stand on the line and be super fired up and really competitive. But then I could switch it off, instead of having that all the time for months on end because it's just not sustainable. So that was kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but I think this fall has been I've really been working on that where, you're getting in the work and you're doing everything you need to do, but in a much more sustainable way where it's like I said, I'm going into my sister's classroom once every few weeks. I'm going over to my parents' house for dinner. I'm running with different people in the Boulder community, just doing things in a different way and connecting with people where you're getting in the work, but it's not kind of this whole, um, yeah, I think the big thing, we were talking about marathons, but, a marathon build, is, 3 or 4 months. And I think sometimes with track, I've had a tendency, when your season is 10 or 11 months,
Yes.
just you can't be so locked in for 11 months straight. It just it takes a lot of that joy out of it. So I think, finding ways. And I remember um my teammate Mohamed said this to me a couple years ago in Bowerman, and it's really stuck with me. But that's something he's so good at is getting the work in the fall, but not spending so much mental energy, if that makes sense. You're getting in and you're getting that consistency, and you're putting in work with your teammates and you're building a really strong foundation for the year, but um you're not spending so much emotional energy like getting up for every single workout. So then I feel like he would always be ready for those really big peak races of the season because he saved that energy in a good way and was excited to do it instead of getting halfway through the year and you're kind of like, oh shoot, I've spent all the energy I have. I am burnt to a crisp. So,
I'm
um,
tired.
yeah, unfortunately, I mean, not to look in the past, but it's taken me longer than I would like to admit to learn that lesson.
Oh.
I feel like you told me that a few years ago and you're trying to do it and you're making progress, but I do feel like things have started to click this fall where I'm like, I can't keep doing the same thing because I don't want to finish the season feeling like I need a long break from running and I don't like it anymore. It's
Well,
not fun.
part of the problem is y'all compete. I was talking to Katie Moon about this. Y'all compete till doggone September. I
Yeah.
I said I don't need to be watching track or covering track or not better yet. It's bad when there's a championship meet when it's time to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire's Do You Remember the 21st Night of September? Like that that's a little wild. So
I remember talking to Katie. I think it might have been in Zurich. I think that might have been both of our I can't remember if that was her last meet or if she did the Diamond League final. But I remember talking to her there and she was like, I am so ready to be done. And we were both like, all right, let's let's wrap it up.
it's always funny when the journalist's like, so what's next? It's like, like that's like I know that's the age-old question, but it's sometimes it's hard to get up for it.
Yeah.
Like it's hard because it's like, what's next? It's like, I got a concert I want to go to, but it's like I can't because I got another race. But I don't know. I understand that because it's a grind. Like we talk about the marathon because this has turned into a preview of what people can expect in a few years. But the season is truly a marathon and not the sprint. And you're literally trying to like maintain everything for that last mile, which is so hard to do. So I definitely understand that. What I also understand is I have to let you ask. You haven't eaten anything. That happened last year and everything. So
I'm too focused. I'm too
you
focused
too.
on the questions, you
I
know?
know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, whatever. All right.
So
What do
now
I
that you're officially a runner, besides doing a marathon in a couple years, do you have any other big goals or things that excite you about continuing to run or things you might want to tackle or do moving forward?
raw fish probably tastes better than this chicken right here.
Really, it's
Uh,
not good.
that chicken been on hard times.
Oh no.
Wow. Um, yeah. So the goal this year is to master the 5K. Have a big race. The big race that I've been training for is in December. Um, only a few weeks away. The second one is to master the 10K.
Moving up in distance. We love it.
So y'all may see me at Boulder to Boulder next year.
You
Um,
should definitely do Boulder Boulder. That should absolutely be your debut 10K.
I've heard some things um that may deter me, but I like a challenge. That's not running hills in a marathon, but um
But the energy of the Boulder Boulder and what you experience along the course is
it's worth it.
there's nothing like it. You gotta do it. Plug for the Boulder Boulder.
Okay. Um after B&B or B2B, or after the 10K, the goal is to master the half. And by that
So you got,
time,
I see where you're going. I see where you're going with this.
and then by that time, when it's time, it'll be time to run the full. We can run the full.
Perfect.
Um, so that is my plan.
What's your own personal why for running? Why did you decide you wanted to start racing and start training, and what keeps you going to want to keep going up in distance and keep training even when it's quite a hard sport?
Because it's like, why, instead of why, it's like, why not?
I
Like,
like that.
we put these limitations on ourselves. I swore that I would never spell marathon, let alone do one.
Yeah.
But why not? Like, because you automatically think, okay, that's 26.2 miles. I can't do that. That's 6.3 miles. I can't do that. That's
Yeah.
13.1 miles. I can't do. Well, why not? Why
Yeah.
can't you? Like, you can be hindering your own blessing with your own insecurities and your own self-denial, which is not even accurate. Now, it's like, okay, you don't do anything stupid. Like, why not go rob a bank? Well, you're gonna die. You're going to jail. It's bad. So it's something, but it's like if there's a challenge and the challenge seems too hard, like I always think, remember, God only requires us to have the faith the size of a mustard seed. The mustard seed is the smallest seed in this world. But that's all
Yeah.
you got to have. That's all the faith you have
Yeah.
to have. So you can fight it, but if you have that mustard seed faith, you can. It's like, "Ah, I can't do this," but you're saying you can't do this as you're doing it, and then eventually you become to overcome those voices. You overcome that doubt, and then you see,
Right.
oh snap, I'm doing this. Like we can do this. Never thought I could run a 5K, but I almost cried. I think I did because you asked how I did. I actually text you after because you said, let me know how you do. And then just thought back to people like you, just the different, my coach Tori, who's like my best friend, and my mom, and all these wonderful people who believed in me. And as I was running, I began to continue to believe in myself. And
Yeah.
so, but I can't get to the point where I'm emotional because I'm so thankful and then obviously to be alive. But I can't get to that point if I don't take the step. Because we always say
Right.
faith is not, about your feelings, it's about your feet. And everything. So yeah, why not? Why not? Because it's like you keep doubting or saying what you can't do, but your blessing could be waiting on the other side of your obedience, and your obedience could just be taking the first step. So again, this is the episode of long-winded answers, but it's like, yeah, why? That's my response. Why not? Basically.
I feel like we got to wrap it up there. Geez, I feel like that's the inspiration people needed. Why not take the first step?
Well,
And you never know what's on the other side of the challenges or the things that you're not doing because you fear. So there we have it.
I just tried to answer the question. That's all I tried to do. Well, let me
I love
ask
it.
you,
I love the why not.
let me ask you this. When are you gonna start coaching? For real, for real. I know you coached Charlie to a PR and stuff. And if y'all haven't, go check that episode out because that dude was one of my favorite interviews because he is funny as all get up. But you are you got this platform, but I always say like your ministry is so much bigger than just that. You would be a phenomenal coach. And I know you kind of alluded to it on the socials. But when can we start calling you CC, Coach Cranny? Like,
Wow, I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, I mean, it is funny. I think, growing up, I wasn't sure if I would ever want to coach. And, I think that's pretty common for a lot of people that, run or are really invested in the sport. And I would definitely say toward the end of college, I started to feel that like I might want to a little bit. But definitely um, coaching Charlie before Chicago was really, really fun. And it's definitely, coaching is definitely something that I would like to do at some point in the future. Yeah, it's just, man, I don't even know how to put it into words. I do think um, it sounds cliche. And I remember Coach Malt saying this when I was in college and he was coaching me, but even it just being so much more than the training, but just forming relationships with people and seeing them through the ups and downs, as you alluded to earlier, just the challenges and again, that self-doubt and um, seeing people attack something and go after something and do something that maybe they once were putting limits on themselves for. And um I just, yeah, that it gives me chills talking about because I think running is such a metaphor for life and um, just being able to make it through the hard times. And maybe you're putting in a lot of work, but you're not, seeing results right away. And I think that excites me to be on that journey with other people and be a small part of them working toward a big goal that they might have.
When do you feel, if you have, or do you feel if you haven't? So, what's the best way to ask this? When do you feel like you unlocked the chains that were holding you back from reaching your full potential? Or if you haven't, do you feel like you're somewhat closer to being fully free, not just in running, but just in everything?
Mm, I think, man, I really have Jared to thank for that. Like I said, I started working with him in March, and I think, um, not to sound like a broken record, I guess, what I just said about why I'd want to get into coaching, but he has approached it so much from seeing me as a person and wanting me to grow and develop as a person. And um, obviously, that's very tied to running. But I think almost approaching it from a little bit of a different point instead of approaching it from the running side, but approaching it as, okay, how can we, this sport is helping us become the best versions of ourselves and it's helping us to learn and grow and become someone, um, that we're proud to be. And um, I think just really sitting down and setting more goals along those lines, if that makes sense, of how are we going to define success outside of the outcome and how do we want to approach the sport? I think, um, and you kind of touched on this earlier, but along those lines, I think um, using the ability to compete against the best in the world as something that's inspiring, knowing that ultimately it's going to bring the best out of myself and knowing that the true opponent, again, not to sound cliche, but is against yourself. And I think that takes some of that pressure off, is just you're trying to be better than you were yesterday and the day before and 6 months ago and last year. And I think um, that's what's been really cool working with Jared, is just seeing progress. And, the progress in some of the results may not be linear, but knowing that, how we're racing or our approach to workouts or races or the mindset that we're in, that we're making a lot of steps forward toward that. And I think um, that's very empowering. And yeah, I think that's the first question I asked you, is kind of your relationship with running. And I think that has transformed my relationship with running again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I want to get off some of the heavy stuff real quick. If, and I'm curious about this, and like we say in my family, tell the truth, shame the devil. If you had to compare your running style to any musical artist, who are you rocking with?
Oh man, that's a really hard question.
I like have who I think
Jeez.
I have who I think. I'm curious to hear who you think.
Wow. I kind of want to hear your thoughts because you seem like you already have someone. I'm
Yeah, but
very caught off guard by that question, I'm not gonna lie.
this lactic acid, I had to throw a couple. I listen. This, I feel like these episodes are just who can stump each other the most.
Literally. And I know that I'm always gonna get that from your podcast because I know you're just gonna I think I remember, is this the first time that you had me on? I think it was around the holidays a couple years ago when you asked like my what candle scent I would have. I don't know. I was like,
Yes, that
these
was the
are
first
some
one.
really hard questions.
And you rocked it. I remember you said you didn't like a fruity candle. Um, you like that was the Bison Burger episode.
Yeah.
You didn't like a fruity candle. I forgot what candle scent you said. I forgot. I forgot. But yeah, that was a good one. Y'all check that out. That was the first form of judgment when it comes to food, and we didn't even know each other. But then you threw it back at me because I remember I said, do the intro for Lactic Acid, and then you actually came with an entire amazing set. I was like, dang, she different. But I want to hear your like, okay, I guess I have to be fair and give you time to think. Okay, just stay with me on this.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think Celine Dion.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow. What makes you say that?
She different. Like Celine was sick and still sings the cough off of a table without moving, like without blowing on it. Like she is built differently. She's very strong, has great range. Like you don't, I don't know. It's like an experience. It's like, oh my God, who is this? It's like it's Sister Lean. Like it's different.
Wow. I think that's the best compliment I've ever received. If you can compare my running career or my running style to Celine, I think that's a good thing.
See, look at you smiling and everything. Got a new energy and everything. Who do you think?
Man, I like your answer now. And it's like, it's funny because I think that's very fitting, even over the last year, because she performed at the opening ceremonies in Paris. And I remember watching with Kai and Jared in St. Moritz, um, at our training camp leading up to the Olympics. And we stayed up late because I was like, I need to see Celine Dion, and we were waiting for hours to see her. And then we basically proceeded to listen to It's All Coming Back to Me Now for the rest of that training camp. So I think when you said that, I'm like, that's really also fitting just for the last year. Yeah. So kind of a cop out answer, but I'm disagreeing with your answer because
You
it
made them
speaks to me.
you, you made them poor boys stay. Y'all know how late that was? It was like God had to be I think she performed at like 4 o'clock Eastern time. St. Moritz is what, 7 hours? 8 hours? 6 to 7 hours?
I think it might be six. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but we were going to bed early, and I remember it being after 10 p.m. and we were waiting, and I was falling asleep, but I was like, I gotta see Celine Dion perform. So,
I ain't mad at it. I would have to see Sister too. I listen, she different. She
yeah,
different.
she is. She
She's
is.
different. I didn't have Here's the thing, if you ask like who was number two, I don't have a number two. That was number one and stuff. I don't even think it's even close and everything. Yeah, I think it's Sister Lean. Yes, I think it's Celine Dion. I think it's Celine Dion.
On the
What?
music track, do you listen to music when you train at all?
Oh, I have
And
to.
if so, what's your,
Depends. So I have it. I listen to music when I race. Like I have to.
yeah.
I will say in December we're gonna be decking the halls down the streets of Orlando. Um,
Of course, I'd expect nothing less.
I decked them a little bit in October when I ran that race in UCF. Just one or two. I don't know. I have to listen to something that has, like, I love listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire when I'm racing.
Okay.
I don't really care when I'm running. It just can't be too slow. Um, I know like you like the country music lifestyle listening stuff crap. Um, I tried it. I I can't. I turned back around.
It's not for you. That's okay. That's okay.
If you're warming up to your point from last year, if you're warming up, okay, I get it.
It's acceptable.
I get it. Like if you're doing mobility exercises, if you're doing static stretching and everything, I understand that.
Yeah,
But how am I supposed to get crunk that don't you want to stay? Like with,
that's true.
that
That's
stuff.
true. That's fair.
Like how am I going to get speed listening to She's Everything? Um, and some of the songs I don't even know, I don't know who wrote it. I just understand like you hear it often and it's like, okay, I guess I need to crank it out. Let me go on ahead and do these hamstrings and booty stretches and all that stuff. But like it's I don't know. I do. So I don't know. The playlist kind of changes a little bit, but I feel like it's different for you. Do you listen to music when you run?
Not usually, not a ton.
But you're running
Um,
with people though.
yeah, I'm usually running with people. Um, let's see, last week it was snowy, so I
Oh,
had a couple runs slash workouts on the treadmill. My dad's a uh big motivational guy, so he was playing me a lot of Muhammad Ali, like all time great lines, hype videos. So that's what we went with. So he was sending me some major inspiration through some longer reps on the treadmill. So that's his approach.
were you sprinting? Because if I am on a treadmill and I hear I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, listen, I'm taking off. Like,
That was the line I was just about to use as an example because yeah, I had a session on the treadmill this morning and he replayed it again and yeah, he was
what's the
helping me rehearse for what I would say, and I was like, I'm not sure that I would ever be able to say some of the things that he said. His confidence was just absolutely incredible. He had some killer lines, so but maybe I'll keep practicing, so stay tuned.
when I interview you at one of these track meets next year? Let's just say it's pre or whatever, wherever I'm at. Let's come back. Elise 1402. Do you felt like you stung like a bumblebee today, or was it more fun? Like, I don't know. I gotta I gotta
Stay
look more
tuned for
into it.
the one-liners in 2025 post races. They're gonna be crazy.
I don't know. Listen, you be giving out like words of wisdom like cotton candy on Graham, so I don't know. And I know you like your quotes too and
Well,
everything.
I
So
think you gave the greatest piece of wisdom we got here tonight is why not? So take the first step, and I like it.
uh,
That's that's gonna stick with me. So
stick in the cranium and everything.
yeah.
I got one or two more, then we're gonna wrap this thing up.
All
Um,
right.
what's the most fun thing you've done so far in the off season?
Ooh, man, that's a great question. Ooh, I maybe a couple things. I went to a college teammate's wedding in Santa Fe. That was
Ooh.
beautiful and amazing, and got to do some runs with college teammates. It's always fun to have a little reunion. Um, and then went on a little Mexico beach vacation with Carissa, Shelby, Courtney, and Christina. So that was also super fun. Um, just to spend time together outside of meets or training or the running world. So yeah, those were probably the two highlights. And also just um honestly enjoying the fall in Boulder has been really, really nice. It's been beautiful here. So being settled in and yeah, spending time with my family and friends and uh my pseudo niece Maya, who's 11 months old now, who's my best friend since elementary school, her daughter, who multiple people recently have asked me because I guess maybe my Instagram content is too Maya heavy. They're like, "Who is this baby you keep posting?"
Oh,
So
snap. No.
I was
I've
like, "No, I did not have a baby in the last couple of months." But yeah, that's
dang.
what we got.
I mean, you pretty clear in the captions that that's your little niece. Uh and stuff. I don't know how we getting five from two and two. But uh yeah, that little girl's gonna love you unconditionally with as much Nike swag as you put her up with. Um,
See, I'm trying to spoil her because I'm nervous that when she gets older, like I want her to think that I'm cool. So it's a
what?
very high pressure situation.
Okay,
She's
so
gonna realize very quickly that I'm not, but
that is interesting because a lot of people feel that way. Like, it's like, no, we have to lay ground roots. Like, we have to lay roots now so that when time changes, like, okay, I can tell you, A, that's not true. She will think you're cool when she's older, because she gonna call you when she get in trouble, whatever
that's
the
my
case.
hope. Like I hope I'm the cool aunt, so like she'll come to me. That's my ultimate goal.
Oh, I mean, y'all building like so many precious memories. Like, there's no way that you're gonna be like, okay, who the heck is that? Like, nah. It's like, nah, it's not gonna be a stranger. What's gonna happen is she's gonna see the video montage of when you win your gold medal within the next 2 to 4 business years or 1 to 3 business years. And it's gonna be like, oh, that's my aunt, that's my auntie and everything.
Gotta do it for Maya. That's the uh yeah, the added
Look,
motivation.
people do it for the gram. She doing it for Maya and everything. I like that. I like that. I will say this. I did see something when you guys went to the Mexico trip. I didn't think it was possible also. How did you sleep so much? Like on the beach, in the boat, and like like everywhere.
Excellent question. I don't know how that was happening. Like I said, I guess I couldn't hang.
Nah, that's I don't want to say that's old age. That's just my old age and
I
everything.
hope it's not old age. Oh my gosh.
No, it's okay. It's fatigue from the season.
Yeah, it was just, full vacation mode. I
Yeah, I
was
mean,
just chilling.
you just chilling, like I ain't mad at it. Chilling like a pina colada. Before I ask you the last two questions, it's your turn. If you had anything left,
Wait, what did you say?
I said before I ask you the last two questions, if you had anything, feel free.
Yeah, I know that you love Christmas, so what are you most excited for as we enter the holiday season? What do you got?
Oh boy. Um, Cooler weather. Like it's been so hot. Like we just had a cold front, so I wore sleeves. I don't know. I just love Christmas. I don't know if I shared on the last time. My grandmother loved Christmas. She loved Christmas. I was like this with her growing up. Like you and Maya are, like I was like that with her. But when I was two, she passed away. And so that was the first time I had to experience death. And so how I dealt with that is I blocked her from my memory. I don't remember anything about her. And
Um,
we were like closer than close. And I don't remember nothing. And it sucks. Like I don't remember what she looks like, sounds like, all that stuff. All I have is what people tell me and pictures and stuff. There's a picture of me eating my first piece of chicken on her lap because my mom fed me healthy stuff, but when she was at work and was watching me, they would feed me fried chicken and coffee and all this other nonsense.
wow, I finally got to the root of the fried chicken, the love for fried chicken.
Have I ever
Comes
shown
from
you that
grandma.
picture? Yeah, it's a
Mm-mm.
picture of me messing up a drumstick. I ate that thing. It was clean. It was clean. It was
I
oof.
love that. I love that.
Um, she loved Christmas, and so I feel like, and my mom loved it. So, um, the house was always decorated, always lights, everything. And I don't know, I just like the peaceful time of it. Um, Especially after chaotic years, just nice, just a sense of relaxation. Like
Yeah.
everybody seems to relax around Christmas time. So I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking forward to. Got a couple fun things. Was actually going to take my talents out to Colorado, but some plans got altered. But um, couple fun things in the city that we're gonna do. So that's kind of why I love it. I was gonna ask you, I remember when I wrote a story about you, we were talking about Thanksgiving food, so I know you hated it. So before I go back to my question, what is your favorite part about the holidays?
Man. Um, yeah, I would say I think for me, um, just like over the last several years, being in different places from my family and my sisters, I would say that's always been the most special time is just similar to what you said, having everyone slow down and just having really nice quality time
Yeah,
together. So I would say that.
I don't know about running in the snow like that though.
I know. I was just talking to someone about that today. I was like, I love the snow and I always want a white Christmas, but it's really hard for me because I want it for everything except when I'm trying to train. Like once I'm done training, I want to sit inside and hang out with my family or read a book or play a game and have the snow falling outside. But then when you have to go train and run, it's just,
It's awful. I can't even begin to imagine having to run in the snow. Like that's almost diabolical, essentially. I always wanted a white Christmas. And I still hope it snows in Tallahassee, so that's the crazy thing. They get a white Christmas, we don't. Um, but
wild.
my knees would hurt so bad. Like it is crazy. Are you a turkey trot person?
Um, my family has done a turkey trot for trying to think. I think I had a workout last year. Why didn't I do it with them? But yeah, we're usually a turkey trot family. So hopefully I'll jump into one this year, depending on Jared lets me in the training schedule. But
I
yeah,
was
they're
gonna,
always so fun.
I was thinking about doing one this year. I was thinking
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, I was
But you're
gonna
gonna
dress up.
wait till the December race. Is that the plan?
Yeah, because I was gonna dress up as a drumstick,
Oh
and
my
then go out
gosh, I
there
love that. That's so fitting.
and kind of ball out. Um, but my last question for you for this edition of Keeping Up with Dom and Elise, what are you most thankful for? This is our
Oh
Thanksgiving
man.
episode, so
Yes.
what are you what are you most thankful for?
Wow. Man. So many things. Geez, I think, um, yeah, the two things I guess that first come to mind, I would say, are the people in my corner, and we kind of have talked about this throughout the episode. You've said this about running, but I think just being out running and having an appreciation for just a healthy, strong body and being in a beautiful place like Colorado to train. And that's something that um, I'm just so thankful for every single day, is just being able to, have the physical, mental, financial capacity to be able to go out and run and do what I love. So, yeah.
I don't think there's a better way to end it. Um, Aline, Aline. Oh boy, because I'm combining six words. Elise Celine Cranny. Oh boy, Aline. Gosh. Okay. Told you that chicken. I don't know if that was a chicken or that was a pigeon I was eating, but it's definitely affected the brain cells. Elise, thank you once again for coming on this holiday edition.
Thank
Uh
you as always. Always love it. I always love the iterations of our charcuterie boards and different foods. I think hopefully your chicken was at least better than the Lunchable. Maybe we're taking slight steps up. Maybe we'll master it one day, but we'll see. Thank you.
yes, you even took a bite of your little apple and everything ahead of dinner. So I'm mad at it. Listen, hope everybody enjoys your Thanksgiving. Everybody has something to be thankful for, and I am thankful for you. Love, peace, and chicken grease, and we will catch you next time.